For this, you will need a cone, sparkly snowflakes, sponge brushes, Mod Podge, and green paint. So I had already went ahead and painted my cone with some green paint, and now I'm taking my Mod Podge and my sponge brush. But first, I'm taking the sparkly snowflakes. I don't know what to call them, but I'm just putting them out so that they're easier to access, and I'm spreading them out so they're kind of like cover more area, you feel. And then I'm taking my Mod Podge on my little sponge and painting small sections on the cone and then rolling it in the snow because the Mod Podge will like dry pretty fast. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because that will just be a waste. So I'm just doing that for the whole cone. After I finished, I'm putting it on a larger cone because I did 3 of these and sitting it out and letting it dry. You know it's dry when there are no more white spots on it, and if it's a little bit wet, then that's okay. And here you see I'm just touching it up a little because it was a little sparse in some spots, and you can do that. But for the most part, I am covering it with just another layer of my Mod Podge so that it seals everything in. And the Mod Podge that I recommend using is the glossy one because it just gives, you know, like a shinier effect. Then let it sit out to dry and you are finished. They look beautiful and it looks like you bought them at a store. For this you will need wax flakes, jars, wicks, wax colorant, hot glue gun, wax scent, and hot glue sticks. First off, I am taking my wicks and trying to adhere them to the bottom of my jar. My jar is from Michael's, just like everything else. And the hot glue did not work, so try figuring out a different way to get it to stick to the bottom. But that, I'm telling you, did not work at all. So, yeah, I don't know how to get it to stick. But I did that, and it didn't work. Turn your stove on high. Now I placed my pot on my stove, and I recommend using a pot that you will not get your parents mad about using because it kind of ruins it. But I recommend putting 2 cups of the wax flakes into your pot. Yeah, your pot, because it will fill up the jar a lot better. And here I'm taking my lights, and now I'm mixing it and letting it melt. Once the wax is melted, I'm taking my colorant, and I'm using a cranberry color, but it ended up being purple, and I'm just cutting little pieces and waiting for it to get to the color that I want it to be. I ended up using, I think, half of the block, so, you know, do it whatever color you want to do it. I'm doing a cranberry. I thought it was going to be red, but it was purple, so, yeah, but I ended up using like half of it because I wanted a really rich color. Now to give your candle a scent, I am taking this pomegranate scent, and it actually smells pretty good. I like it, and just mixing it in. I don't know, do it however much you want. And then I'm taking a citrus one, but it didn't smell that good, so I didn't add a lot of it. But just mix in however much of the scent as you want. You can smell it when you're making it, so just do it to whatever your nose likes it. And now I'm pouring it into the jars, and here you can see that it's really messy to pour it in, but, you know, and it completely, you know, took the wick off of it, but that's okay. And then I just put it outside to let it cool. So, yeah. And now, time to decorate. I am using some Mod Podge and putting it on the top, and then putting some sparkles on it. I didn't put this in the supplies because you can decorate it however you want. This is just what I did. And yeah, so watch me sparkle this thing up. So now I decided to make it a little more sparkly, so I'm adding more Mod Podge and taking those flakes, those little snowflake flakes, and just putting them on the top to make it more sparkly because I like sparkles. And I think candles are really festive, and I wanted it to make it look like it had snow on top, you know? And now I'm taking a ribbon and measuring it out to, you know, the circumference of the jar, and taking my hot glue and just gluing around it right where the candle coloring ends, like the actual candle ends, and just hot gluing it on, and it just looks so fabulous. I also ended up spraying some sparkles on it with it was like a spray paint sparkle, but I forgot to film it, so I'm sorry, but I did do that, and it looks fabulous. And now you can just light your candle and you're done. I did get some glitter in the candle, but that's okay, it just adds to the festivity. So I hope you enjoyed this video and have an awesome day. Bye!